Greetings, I'm Maggie Moon. Thank you for joining me for this interview with a lady that I think is just awesome, and I have great admiration for her. She is a member of the Order of Phosphorus. She creates all those amazing soaps and those awesome scrying salts that you see at Luciferian Apotheca. Greetings, Kristen. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. For those that may not be familiar, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I work for Luciferian Apotheca. I help do social media and help inspire and keep the feed going. And I also make the soaps for Luciferian Apotheca as well as the salts. And I've been with the Order of Phosphorus for well over 12 years now. I think I'm going on 13 years. I have to check. And yeah, it's been in the community for quite some time.
Awesome, awesome. First of all, your soaps are amazing, and your scrying salts. I love them so much. And I was wondering who did the publicity for Luciferian Apotheca because it's amazing. I
Here.
love them. So this interview series, I'm having discussions with people that have worked with Lilith. I receive a lot of different questions from people about Lilith from a variety of perspectives. So I thought that I would do a series where we can discuss our actual workings and experiences with Lilith. So when you first started thinking about working with Lilith, did you have any reservations or fears before you began?
Um, when I first started working with Lilith, before I started getting into the Order of Phosphorus and Luciferianism and Satanism, I first approached her from the vampiric path, the vampiric community, and so I kind of saw her as like the mother of all vampires and uh, just kind of like a one-sided kind of view. And I had a preconceived notion that she was just a very bloodthirsty, and that's about as far as it went at that time whenever I first started. So I was a little bit nervous, but I used that to kind of fuel my workings. That it made it exciting.
Oh, yes.
So yeah.
So when you did start working with her, what was your first experience like with an actual working with Lilith?
Oh, it was when I was much younger. The first time I had a full working with Lilith, it was like this. It just came from within and just blossomed. It was this big primal feminine hunger that I had within myself, and it just opened up doors to so many things about myself that I didn't even know. That it's kind of one of those, you don't know what questions to ask if you don't know, and as soon as you start learning more about yourself, that's when you have even more questions and you start going deeper and deeper into the studies. And when I first started working with her, I was blown away by how much of myself I did not know.
Yes, she has a way of doing that. How have your experiences of working with her changed and evolved over time?
Um, as I got older, at first I approached her from just the vampiric point of view, which that is a part of her, but there is so much more to Lilith than just the vampiric part. I mean, that is part of her, but there's a lot going on. And as I got older and I started reading more and experimenting and just doing the rituals, the energy works, I started learning to respect myself more, and I became much more dominant in my stance and how I felt about myself, and the self-respect just absolutely increased. And when the self-confidence, I became more aware of myself as a woman, that you do not become subservient to a companion, that you are equal. And I really focused on that, and it really helped me out a lot with my current situations and my other people I was with at that time. And it evolved more to self-respect, where I didn't allow someone to do horrible things to myself, horrible things to me, because I became very aware that I am equal and I'm not subservient, and that I do not lay below, or I do not allow these things to happen to me anymore. It was one of those that I love you, but I love me more kind of thing. It was very powerful.
Absolutely. And I've had a very similar experience. Do you have any advice for anyone who is considering working with Lilith? They think they hear that call, but they're held back by fear.
Mhm. It's fear is a natural instinct to have whenever it is to traveling into the unknown or experimenting with the unknown, but use that fear to push yourself into it, and to just not hold back. It's one of those ones that it kind of blossoms within yourself, and you will be surprised on how much that inner voice has been within you all this time. And it's kind of that voice that's just been dying to get out. And once you acknowledge Lilith and the energies of Lilith, it's you acknowledge that part of yourself as well. And it's better to know that side and that kind of energy rather than avoid it, because it may come up all of a sudden. You don't know exactly what to do because you're not prepared for it. But whenever you experience that kind of energy, you become very accustomed with it, and you become very familiar with it. And there's so much you can learn about yourself with Lilith. And I definitely suggest just to go for it. It's one of those things you don't take lightly, but it's one of those things. It's like a threshold. You know, the only way to go forward is to go through.
Absolutely. And that's excellent advice. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you so very much for doing this interview with me. I'm very excited to have you here. And I hope I can have you on the channel again in the future at some point. And so if people are wondering where to get your salts and your soaps, do you sell those exclusively for the Luciferian Apotheca? Okay, so I'm going to leave a link to the Luciferian Apotheca in the description of this video. And I highly encourage everyone to check out the soaps, and the scrying salts are my favorite. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.
And until next time, I wish you dark and wild blessings.